Hello and welcome back, everybody. It's been really hot here in Ohio the last few weeks, and you have to expect that in July, and it's only going to be getting hotter throughout the summer. So wanted to talk a little bit about some tips on keeping the Ventrac running cool. A lot of you commercial guys might already know a lot of these tips, but maybe there's some of you out there that never thought about some of this. So I figured I'd go ahead and just do a little bit of video on it. Now the radiator on the Ventrac is more than adequate to keep you running cool, even on really hot summer days. But if you don't maintain that radiator, that's where you can run into problems. So generally mowing, these things will clog up every now and then. I usually don't have any problems. Dandelions give me a little bit, but usually the cottonwood season, for those of you that haven't had to deal with cottonwood, the stuff is terrible. The lawn just gets covered with it, and when you mow, it blows all through the air, and it's light and fluffy, and radiators love to suck that stuff in. So that's usually the only time during that season I really have to stop and keep an eye on my radiator to keep it cool. Now, even any compact tractor, I've rented larger farm tractors, compact tractors, and tough cut this whole property before I built. And even with them, you're gonna struggle with keeping the front radiator screens clean, even while tough cutting and brush hogging. It's just the nature of tractors. You know, you got the radiator sucking air through, that kind of debris is gonna get stuck on there. So, all right, so let's pop open the hood, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about the radiator and tips to keep it clean. All right, so lifting the hood, talking a little bit about the radiator in the Ventrac. Like I said, this radiator is really large. They put in these. I've never had any issues with cooling at all. Now, when you pull these screens out, the holes in here sort of are a little larger, so you're gonna get some debris that's gonna make it in the back of the radiator. Sometimes dandelion, fifis, the seeds, that kind of stuff will pass through. You have to blow all this out. But for the most part, if you're power raking, that kind of thing, you get dirt up in here, and this can inhibit your cooling capacities over time. So keeping this radiator clean is gonna keep your machine running good, it's gonna keep your engine cool, and it's gonna last a long time. Another thing I wanted to point out, I usually clean, I wax underneath this hood. These are all bugs that when I tough cutted here twice already this year, that's the kind of stuff that's getting sucked through your radiator, and that's the fan splattering them bugs, even on the back of the coolant bottle there. So I have to go through and clean all this off again, but that kind of stuff is what gets stuck in your radiator. So I got a special tool that works really good for keeping this radiator clean. Let me go ahead and show you. All right, so cleaning out the radiator, what I found works best is this tool here. This is a Radiator Genie. They make one that plugs in for an air compressor, and what's really nice about these is they're long and sleek, and they can get into hard to reach places that you might not normally be able to get into with a normal extension on an air compressor. So depending on the conditions that you're doing, I usually do this about every 3 mowings. If I'm brush cutting a lot and I get a lot of dirt conditions, dusty conditions, if you're power raking, I suggest doing this more. But using the air tool, you can get in there, blow everything out really good. These work really excellent. And then the other wand you have goes onto the end of a garden hose, and you can clean it out with water. I usually do this about every 100 hours, or in the fall or spring when I do my normal maintenance, every time I change the oil, which I do about every 100 hours, I'll clean it good with this. To buy this Radiator Genie set, it's really hard to find them in stores. Most people don't carry them. You can get these on Amazon. They're relatively inexpensive. I'm an affiliate for Amazon. I will put a link in the description below. So any of you that want to buy a set of these, you can go down in that description, click on the link, it'll take you right to them. You can get a set. Nice thing with these is you don't have to use them just on the Ventrac. I use them on my smaller garden tractors. You can use them on your truck, car, anything with a radiator. These come in very handy to clean. All right, now that we've talked about the radiator on the Ventrac, keeping the engine running nice and cool, I did want to talk a little bit about the hydrostat oil cooler that's located in the rear here. Every time I'm done using this tractor, mowing or anything I do, I always blow this out from the back in. to try to keep that little radiator clean and free of debris. But a lot of times when you're mowing, you will suck foreign material in here through these screens, and it ends up being in the bottom of this toolbox. So generally for me, every 100 hours, unless I'm really doing a lot of, tough cutting conditions, maybe 50 hours, but generally about every 100 hours for me, I take this all apart. It's real easy. I think there's like 6 or 7 bolts that come out, and you can access this down in here, and I'll take a vacuum, and this will have debris underneath it, and I clean that out really good. That way I don't have to worry about that debris being sucked up and clogging my screen. So let me get this apart here, and I'll show you down in there. All right, I got the side shields off. I'm looking down in there. Now I did clean this out, vacuumed all this out real good about 30 hours ago, and I'll pull some of this debris up out of here. That's some of that cottonwood and probably dandelion fifis down there, grass. So there is some stuff still stuck to this. Now on the 4500s, they do have the reversing fan. Like I said, I do try to keep that all blowing out to keep it clean, but since I got this off, I will vacuum this out again. But generally, about every 100 hours, you should be good. Depending on the conditions you're in, you may want to do it more. Like I said, everybody's usage is different on the Ventrac, so just something to keep in mind to keep your tractor running cool. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. Maybe these tips were something that some of you hadn't thought of before. If you guys have any other ideas on videos you'd like to see, go ahead and put them in the comments below. Hope to have some more Ventrac videos coming here soon. As always, thanks for watching.